But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, me and one of my friends who's also a recording artist, we had a debate like earlier this year,
Uh-huh,
between arrogance and humility, and
uh-huh,
which one is the best path to success. But I've always said that humility, you put forth the work, and you let your work do the talking, and other people will also speak up for you. You don't need to pat yourself on the back like the rest of Barry Horowitz used to do, and like brag on yourself on social media all day. Um, I kind of
uh-huh.
I kind of sense that you would sway towards the humility side of the argument, because it sounds like you lived a life that is perfect, where you have this fame, but you don't you can go places. You can go to the grocery store, you can go to the
I
mall,
can. I
and
still
no,
have anonymity. You're
yeah,
absolutely right. I feel like that was the blessing in disguise because my record is bigger than my face.
right.
So people know my record like crazy, but they don't know my face necessarily. So I can still have anonymity and do my thing and live my life and not really have to worry about it too much, which I really love. You know what I mean? But now I will speak on what you said, and this might shock you,
Uh-huh.
but I base everything kind of upon my beliefs in the Bible and what I believe about God. And what you said about arrogance and about humility, I believe humility will help get you into heaven and it'll help you be a better person. But honestly, if you want to be successful in the world is not necessarily God's. You know, he controls everything, but he allows the devil to operate. Now,
Hmm.
I don't want to start sounding all preachy and spiritual and all this, you know what I'm saying? But I have to speak from what I know and what I actually believe. Most of the people that I met in the business that were the most successful were arrogant.
Hmm.
And they really like in order for you to get rich, you have to have a love of money. It's very difficult to get rich and be humble. Now, a lot of people will probably be like, no, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. But it's honestly, in my opinion, I think it's true. And the reason being, business is a different state of mind. When you're talking about money, your focus has to be different. It can't necessarily be now. Some people will tell you it has to be a blend between being, you know, moral and then thinking about business. But the people who are really successful at it, in my opinion, they're more about the bottom line and the dollar. You know what I'm saying? That's just how business works.
Hmm.
And if you think about it, anywhere you've ever worked in your life is like that. If you start messing up at your job tomorrow, they'll replace you in a New York minute
That's true.
very quickly. And they're not going to care about how many kids you got at home, how many bills you got. All they're thinking about is this machine continuing to make money? That machine has to continue to spit out money. And if it doesn't do that, who cares who gets hurt along the way? And when you're talking about the music business, it's worse because you're talking about people destroying lives. They don't care about women having to objectify themselves. If you think about it, most of the women that are successful, they have to objectify themselves. They got to be scantily clad, half naked. They got to be selling sex. They got to be talking about sex. And even with young men, they're talking about drugs. They're talking about murder. They're talking about, sorry about that, motorcycles riding by.
You good?
But you got to think about it, man. It's very difficult to sell a record without talking about these things. And there's a reason for that. So when you talk about humility, can you truly be humble and all you're doing is bragging about how much money you got and how many women you've had sex with and how many guys you'll slap and kill? You feel what I'm saying? So you got to really think about that and break that down, man. And even if you're not in entertainment and you're just talking about business in general, it is very difficult to make a lot of money. Think about it, man. If you got a lot of anything, an abundance of anything, You got to have a love for it. If I got 5,000 pairs of sneakers, I got to have a love for sneakers. You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a lot of money, like, because I've had lots of money in my life and I gave away most of it. So that's how I know the difference. When you're a loving person and you're a humble person, you're going to help other people. So eventually you're not going to end up with as much. People who have a lot, they don't give as much. Now, some people will say that's not true, but that's my opinion.
Right. See?
Sorry.
No, I'm
I
saying.
went I
Nah,
went
I
deep.
took you there. I took you there. But I love it. I love the conversation.
Yeah.